The grey matter of the segment of the man's spinal cord, though it's devoid of consciousness, nonetheless responds to a simple stimulus by giving rise to a complex set of muscular contractions coordinated towards a definite end and serving an obvious purpose. So you've got the cut in the spinal cord. Below that, you can still be having complex coordinated actions directed towards a particular end, even though consciousness isn't coming into the picture. If the spinal cord of a frog is cut across so as to provide a segment separated from the brain, we shall have a subject parallel to the injured man, on which, he says ruthlessly, experiments can be performed without remorse, as we have a right to conclude that a frog's spinal cord is not likely to be conscious when a man's is not. Okay, so we can do we can do what we like to the unfortunate frog. If a human's spinal cord being cut means that below that there's nothing conscious, then what chance is there of a humble frog generating consciousness below the bisection in the spinal cord? So if a man's spinal cord is divided, the part of the central nervous system which lies beyond the injury is cut off from consciousness, and similarly, presumably, for the frog. But if you just start out by pouring some acid just to see what happens, without remorse, as Huxley says, on one of the frog's foot, the other foot will try to rub the acid off. A frog with a foremost 2/3 of its brain removed will still swim when thrown into water. A frog with the anterior of the brain, the anterior division of the brain, so much of it as lies in front of the optic lobes, that's just a huge cutout of his brain. If it's removed and placed in your hand, if the hand be inclined very gently and slowly, so that the frog would naturally tend to slip off, the creature's forepaws are shifted. This is the frog with most of its brain cut out. The creature's forepaws are shifted to the edge of the hand until he can just prevent himself from falling. And if the turning of the hand is continued, he goes through the needful set of muscular contractions until he comes to be seated in security on the back of the hand. The doing of all this requires a delicacy of coordination and a precision of adjustment of the muscular apparatus of the body, which are only comparable to those of a rope dancer. So that's the frog doing all these complex coordinated actions, clearly without any consciousness. So if you can get so far in the frog, clearly without the benefit of consciousness, surely you could do that with humans. I was talking about this kind of stuff to a physiologist, and he said to me cheerfully, well, if we put you on a treadmill, so you're walking on a treadmill, and we cut off your head, you would still continue walking. You tend to think, look, I'm going down the streets, I'm going down that street, I'm walking this way or that, because of what's going on in my mind. Actually, you can continue to walk just fine without the benefit even of your brain. A lot of your complex coordinated actions are happening without the benefit of consciousness at all. So it may be assumed that molecular changes in the brain are the causes of all the states of consciousness of brutes. But is there any evidence that in brutes and animals, it's the states of the mind that are causing the muscular emotions? Well, Huxley says, I can see no such evidence. Anything that the brute is doing could in principle be explained without postulating a mind at all. And similarly for us, once you see what we're all capable of without consciousness, you then ask, but do we need consciousness to do that stuff anyway? That really is such a key message of science for all of us in everyday life. Yep. What is the meaning of doing such things? Well, that's right. Going to college is not increasing your survival rate. Not directly, I agree, not directly. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah. But I guess any evolutionary psychologist would say the way evolution works in humans is very complex and indirect. There's a lot of subtlety in it. I suppose you're asking what's the reason for the evolution of language? Yeah. One hypothesis is it has to do with storytelling, the ability to tell stories. That if you're looking for a mate, then storytelling among humans will really, so the idea is get you a long way. And if you think of the Tales of the Arabian Nights, right, that kept Scheherazade, how do you say Scheherazade? The narrator alive for a very long time. Yeah, that was survival. Yeah, survival in humans works in complex and subtle ways. Yeah, so choosing a task may be a byproduct of all those selection pressures, but just because of the length of the evolutionary process, all these subtle and indirect things are coming into play. But still, it's a great question. Yeah, because you naturally think consciousness sets my goals. Yeah, it's only because I consciously set my goals that I have targets that I'm trying to meet. And if the targets that I consciously set aren't what's really setting my targets, then what is doing it? But the answer may well be these background evolutionary pressures. In fact, really, there's a sense in which I don't know what else would be doing it on a scientific account. Well, I don't see why it isn't. I mean, people are just wandering around. Yeah. I don't quite understand what your point is. Well, I can see one argument being, well, we're all going to college. What's from an evolutionary point of view, what on earth is the point of that? Or you could say, what about all those slackers? What's the evolutionary point of being a slacker? So which is it? I mean, or is it both? Both. Okay. Well, I see plenty of animals that look to me like kind of slackers. Yeah, I don't know that it needs any special explanation why somebody would be a slacker. As for going to college, I mean, if you want to have lots of successful, prosperous children, then it's actually not a bad strategy. Yeah, if you want to do well, going to college is correlated with lots of good things from that point of view. So really, it's not. Even if you think about the Scheherazade example, there are lots of ways in which going to college will actually benefit you evolutionarily. Yeah. Okay, so we're content with heady phenomenalism so far. Okay, so then the next issue is, are we free? Does that mean we're not in charge? Or do we still have responsibility for what we do? And after all, if that's the right picture, the monkey thinks that they're free. The monkey thinks they're in charge, but they are not. They are not responsible for any of their actions. They can't take credit for them. They shouldn't be taking blame. Huxley says, well, you actually can be free, even if epiphenomenalism is true. Huxley says, the frog walks, hops, swims, and goes through his gymnastic performances quite as well without consciousness, and consequently without volition. But nonetheless, the frog is free, Huxley says. The frog is free in that, after all, no one is preventing the frog from doing what it wants to do. When the frog is hopping, swimming, and going through its gymnastic performances, one scenario would be a hand clamps down and stops the frog from doing any of that stuff. But there is nothing stopping the frog from doing any of that stuff. In that sense, Huxley says the frog is free. The frog's free in that there's nothing that prevents it doing what it desires to do. It is true that its desires don't make anything happen. Its desires don't actually make stuff. It has the desires. Its desires don't actually make anything happen. But there is nothing that's systematically trying to thwart its desires either. So Huxley says that's what freedom is. Can you put your hand up if you're happy with that as a definition of freedom? And this is you, remember. If you're not happy with that as a definition of freedom, why are you not happy? What's the problem with that? Yeah? Your choices, that is true, your choices don't matter. But nobody's stopping you getting it. There could be social structures that stop you getting your goals. But suppose you're in a benevolent environment. You will choose away. And your desires, your actions will often be such as to get you what you chose. It's just that your choices don't make a difference. To say your choices don't matter, sometimes that means, well, there's some powerful individual around who will make it the case that I don't get what I chose. But you might systemically get what you chose, even though your choices aren't causing anything to happen. That's what Huxley thinks the situation is. Yeah? You have desires that conflict with yours. Your actions are restraining your desires. Well, two things are going to be going on here. One is that one will be the I wanted that to happen syndrome, where you walk down the lighted road rather than the dark road, and you say, oh, I did that because I thought that one was scary. That's not true. You know, that's like the hand in the radiator thing. What happened was you just started walking down the lighted road, and then being asked, challenged on why you were doing that, you said, oh, I thought the dark one looked a bit scary. So what you do is, after the fact, you conform your desires to what you actually did. Okay, and if you don't do that, then then the world may often thwart you. Yep. But it will also be true that the brain states that are causing your desires will also be causing the action in such a way that it comes out that your desire and the action match, but not because your desire caused the action. So there'll be a kind of match there, but that's enough for freedom. Yeah. So the situation's kind of like this. Suppose you've got a child that's completely under the control of another person, and that other person can make the child's limbs move however they want. Right, so I can grab hold of you, I put you in the structure, I can make your limbs move any way I want, and whatever I do, you say, hey, I wanted my limbs to move that way. Or maybe I see what you desire. Maybe I make you have the desires directly. Maybe I just fill you with a desire to move your limb this way, and then I make your limb move that way, just for the hell of it. So that's the situation that we're all in, according to the epiphenomenalist. Your brain, your physical states, make your limbs move. Typically, you will say, hey, I wanted that. But also your brain states may make you have the desires anyway, in such a way that they match the actions. Your brain is kind of benevolent in that way. So even if your desires are all formed after the fact, the rationalizations, even if your desires are all formed after the fact in that way, the rationalizations of what you're trying to do, I agree with you guys are saying that isn't freedom. You want to be in charge. Right? Surely if your mental life isn't in charge, even of the ways your limbs move, then you have nothing in the way of freedom. Yeah? Just not having somebody around obstructing your desires, that's not enough for freedom. For freedom, you want to be the one who is making things happen. But what this whole line of argument is telling you is that you are not the one who's making things happen. Yep. One's controlling the physical state. Yeah, well, the brain is very complex, right? So there's going to be a lot of genetic factors in how your brain was made just the way it was. There's going to be all these environmental factors striking the brain, and there's going to be the ongoing internal processing of the brain, all through your life. So there'll be a whole complex of factors affecting what the brain does, and that will be really the story as to why you do the things you do. But the mental life just doesn't come into it. It's the brain that does everything. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's the brain that's doing everything. How does it know how to react? But that's like asking the frog, how does it know how to react? You cut the spinal cord, and then you watch it. Actually, there's an example of Huxley's of wounded soldiers with that kind of cut across the spinal cord. You tickle their feet, and they try to protect the limb that's being tickled, but they can't be feeling it. They don't have any consciousness in the bit that's being tickled. So you might say, well, how do they know? How do they know to protect the thing that's being tickled? Well, that's just the way it is with these complex biological systems. They just do know. I mean, you might ask, how does your stomach know how to digest food? That's a complex operation. Well, that's just what these biological systems do. Yeah. One, two. Yes. Yeah. If predetermined means determined independently of anything to do with your psychological life, then yes. It doesn't mean, and what environmental facts affect you will play a role. Predetermined sometimes means God laid it down when you were born, exactly what was going to happen to you. Epiphenomenalism does not mean that. Epiphenomenalism can say, look, if you're in an earthquake, for example, what happens to your body then was not predetermined. Yeah? These things just happen. Life happens en route. So it's not predetermined in that sense. It was laid down from the beginning of time what was going to happen to you. But it was predetermined in the sense that your own psychological life didn't get to come in and inject its influence into what happened to you. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, no desire can come into play after you started the action, but no desire came into play in the initiation of the action either. That's the hard idea. Yeah. But that's the important point. I mean, drug addiction is a good example to bear in mind. The idea is that someone said to me, look, you put a crack addict in front of a computer screen with the electrodes in their head, and you show them a picture of a crack pipe, and their whole frontal cortex just lights up. This person has just been turned into a machine looking for crack. Yeah? And talk about desires of their mental life. It doesn't really seem to the point when you see what a big brain phenomenon it is. It's not that they're in conscious control anymore of what is going on. They have just been turned into crack-seeking missiles, if you see what I mean. Yeah? So that would be the picture. Yeah? It's not that they talk about conscious desire initiating things. That's not relevant anymore. Okay, so with the downfall of civilization, we'll pack it up for today, and we'll carry on the good work on Wednesday. Okay, thanks, guys.